What is going on, family? How is everybody doing? I hope you all are having a wonderful, 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 absolutely wonderful, 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 wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful. What is today? Wednesday. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Listen, we got a little something to talk about real quick. We ain't got to be in here, but let me tell you something. Some stupid stuff happened. And let me just say, I want to just say, hit the like button, subscribe, but I want to just say, y'all know what we gonna talk about. We might as well just get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to get to it. Oh, if you have not gone to join ADOS.yet.com, please do that. Please do that, ladies and gentlemen. Please do that. But listen, this image that you see before you has become all the rage, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get my laptop. Let me get my laptop up too. I like to have that up as well. But listen, it's been all the rage the last few days. It's been all the rage. And people are talking about it and people are upset. People are very, 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 very upset at Beyonce, ladies and gentlemen. They are outraged. Do you hear me? Oh my God. Does she not know what the flag means? Now, we don't even see the whole flag. She could come out with something different. We see part of the flag, but it looks very Americana. It looks very American. Who? Ladies and gentlemen, who does she think that she is as an American to come out with an American flag? Well, that's kind of doesn't that question kind of answer itself? Doesn't that question, like, who is this American with an American flag? I am so confused. What is Beyonce doing as an American with the flag? Now, I'm going to get to why I blame Beyonce too, because Beyonce been playing with y'all. Beyonce went and tried to do that Wakanda stuff and Afrobeat stuff, and everybody was, ooh, you were dancing to them little repetitive beats, click, click, clack, click, click, clack. You would dance to them little beats, and you loved it when it was all Wakanda. But all of a sudden, this is what we get when Beyonce, who is an American and who has an American birth certificate, who has an American passport, born here, raised here. She told you, mama, daddy, Alabama, Louisiana. She told you all that. She told you she's American, but you don't want her to claim it. So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Other people can come here and claim the country, right? Even people who just got here, but she can't claim it. Now this is, and let me just say this. This is not, we have seen this all the time. This is nothing new. I don't even understand. Are y'all just gonna attack everybody? Like, how is this supposed to work? Are y'all just going, oh my God, how dare you? So I told y'all a long time ago, and it still remains true. Everybody wants us to be lost. So y'all got to just be out here and be lost and act like you don't know nothing, act like you ain't heard nothing, act like you ain't got no home. People tell you that you're not African, and I agree that we're not. Right? I listen, all you Africans, I heard all of y'all talking about how Alabaster Beyonce was, about how white looking she was. We heard you loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. But all of a sudden, wait a minute, so she can't be African, and she's not, but she can't be American, but she is. And who in the world gave you permission to tell her who she could and couldn't be? See, this is the part that really gets me, because this is what we have done. We have allowed people to dictate to us who we are. Well, you don't get to be African. You're not African enough. You don't know enough. Okay, fine. I'm not African. I agree. I ain't never wanted to be African. I've been to the continent, but I've never wanted to be African. I know I'm American. I know where I come from. People been here 400 years. I absolutely know who I am and where I come from and who I'm not. So I never agree. If you say that I'm not African, I'm gonna be like, you doggone Skippy. But you can't tell me that I'm not American. Who are you? We have allowed people to dictate to us. And part of the reason that they dictate to us is because they know that as a lost group, people can always take advantage of us. Listen, they know we are an easily little uprooted group if we do that. They know that. Let's let them be lost and feel like they don't have no homeland. Then we can always tell them that we're the motherland, and we can always sun them. They sun us all the time. Well, see, y'all ain't real African. Y'all don't have no culture. All the while talking about we ain't got no culture, and you running around mimicking. You running around mimicking our culture, all the while telling us we ain't got no culture. Well, y'all don't have no culture. Well, take them Timberlands and Jordans off and all that stuff you be wearing that look like, well, y'all ain't got no culture. Well, stop trying to sound like Beyonce, Aretha, Whitney, or anybody else. Like, just only do Afrobeat. Stop trying to do collaborations with those people. Stop trying to get our producers to produce your music. Stop needing our people to come in here and find an entryway into ADOS music if we ain't nothing. If we ain't nothing, stop trying to mimic us if we ain't nothing. But that's what everybody, you don't have a culture. See, in our country, we do this. In our country, men treat women this way. Well, wait a minute. I looked at the domestic violence rates. So I know you lying about that too. It's a lot of lying going on, and we have not checked the lies, and all of a sudden we just walk around like we want to kick a can. Oh man, they done told us we really down bad. They got it. See, we just need to be more like the continent, more like the motherland. That's how you get manipulated. People telling you that you're not enough. Listen, I don't care what kind of relationship you're in. It is an abusive relationship if the person keeps telling you that you are not enough. If the person keeps telling you that they could do better. If the person keeps telling you that the problem is you. If the person keeps telling you that you need to be diminished and that they're better than you and you just don't measure up. All the while, your freedom struggle is the one thing that allowed all these people in this country. And we're going to get to it. They brand new. Hey, we didn't have any black immigrants till only a negligible amount to 1965. Our history goes back to 1619. We didn't have them here until 65. And we're going to get to when most other people came to. We're going to get there. See, there's something very interesting. Some of these people love Obama. They love Obama. Oh, Obama was just the best. Oh, I love Obama. Our first Kenyan white president, they love him to death. He was the face of empire. Dropping all kind of bombs everywhere. That's who Obama was. And y'all love him to death. You love the man who was, like if I were to go and tell half of the people who are talking about Beyonce can't claim the flag, if I were to go and say, you know what, Obama ain't nothing. Oh my gosh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You are a right winger. Who are you to say something about Obama? Y'all would have all kind of problems, right? Right? Y'all done had all kind of problems. Now, let me just say, let's just keep going to it. We have always had this flag, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you know what y'all did when y'all took that flag? Who are you to have the flag? Listen, some of y'all are so new that you don't understand our freedom struggle. Some of y'all are so new that you are not culturally anchored in this country. You only know what little bit you have read. You only know what you see on TV. You are on the outside of ADOS culture. This is American Descendants of Slavery, the institution. You don't know that and you haven't experienced that, so let us teach you. We have always repped the flag. The same way you rep the Nigerian flag, the Jamaican flag, the Ghanaian flag, all them other flags. I don't even know what countries have them flags. You know what the American flag is when you see it, don't you? You don't know what that flag is, and we don't make you feel bad about it. We don't tell you what little country is this that you come from. I don't know. We don't tell you that. We say, hey, what is this? I want to know more. But if you really want us to get into, you would get into, we can make you cry. We never do that. We never do that to you. But you want to tell us that we can't be in the country that we built. Well, y'all didn't mean to build it. Y'all didn't mean to do it. We built it all the same. We built it all the same. You didn't build it. You want to get into who did and who didn't do what. You didn't build it. You didn't build a doggone thing here. And the reason we rep that flag is not because, and this goes outside of Beyonce now, it's because we've always said that we want to be fully American. We don't rep the flag because of imperialism, you idiot. That's not what we're doing. Everybody who has a flag has problems with their government or problems with what their government does or problems with what their government acts. When I see a Nigerian flag, I don't tell you that you agree with everything your president does. When I see a South African flag, I don't say you must agree with everything that your government does. But when we rep a flag, you must agree with all the stuff that America does wrong in the world. No, but that doesn't change who I am. I am an American in this country. Whatever this country does wrong and the policymakers do wrong, it doesn't change who I am. And when you try to uproot me from that, I know you mean me no good. Y'all have been doing this for years. And let me tell you something. I am so happy that the tide is finally changing. Y'all all getting checked on Twitter now. Just been running. Y'all been running wild for a very long time, calling us names in our own country. Our push has always to be fully American, to be fully accepted and have all the rights and wealth that this country affords. You think you're gonna come over here in the year 1990 and 2000 and tell us how to be American when you just got here, baby? Well, baby, who you think you was talking to? You brand new. You just got to the neighborhood. Don't let your visa fool you. Don't let your green card fool you, honey, or your mama's green. Don't let that fool you. You are brand new here. We have let this go on too long, and we've been talking about it for a very long time. But listen, I'm mad at Beyonce too, because you went and glorified all them people's stuff when you did that I Am Black album or whatever. So now they think they can just talk and say whatever they want to you. You shouldn't have gave them that. Had your mama online. We're gonna talk about her too. Had her online talking. We was kings and queens. Y'all got to stop that king and queen stuff. We sure was. We was kings and queens, and we trying to showcase that. Well, you gave them that, and look at what they did. Now they just kicking you in the face. They loved all that Wakanda stuff. Now the people on Twitter, these political symbolisms don't match. What are you talking about? If somebody has a symbolism that looks like the Black Panthers, what do you think the Black Panthers were fighting for? What kind of rights do you think that they were fighting for in this country? Who do you think they were fighting for? Do you think they were fighting for us to leave? They were fighting because of the oppression that we experience in this country. They were saying the same thing everybody said. We have a right to this flag. We have a right to this land. We have earned it. We have built it. We don't need to be treated like this. And they were willing to do a lot of stuff to get there. What are you talking about? All these little weird PhD people, what's wrong with y'all? See, repping the flag, putting American flag on your album is a choice in this social climate. And what, ladies and gentlemen, in what social climate am I supposed to claim? Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me understand. In what social climate revokes my citizenship? What social climate does that? What social climate revokes my citizenship as an American citizen? What social climate says that I'm no longer American? What you do, Dodo Bird, is you fight for what America is supposed to be. You fight for a different set of ideals than races. That's what you're supposed to do. It does because American policymakers or the American government does something that you don't believe in. That's not how any of this works. Y'all are lost. And these people have made y'all believe that they get to come here and rep every flag in the world, and you built here and you can't rep your flag. That's what they have made us believe. They have driven us crazy. So we believe, oh my God, it's my country, but I can't even rep my flag in my own country. But somebody who just got here can rep a flag from a country that they left. But I can't rep mine. And you got military family members who bled for this country. You got people who died for this country. You got people who worked and built this country. And you got people who got here yesterday telling you what you can and can't do. Why you let yourself get punked like that for so long? Who told you to get punk like that all these years? How long you gonna be a punk if you're still a punk? In your own country. I would never, and nobody would ever let me go to another country and behave this way. And act like I got blood. I got blood in that land. I got bones. I'm culturally a part of that country. Nobody would let me do that. I would never be allowed to do that. And you allow people to come here and otherize you. You would think if you came, listen, if an alien landed in this country, they would think that the people, the immigrants the black immigrants especially who are calling us out on this, and the lost ADOS who are calling us out on this, they would think really that the black immigrants are the citizens and we just immigrated here by the way we allow ourselves to get talked to. by the way we allow ourselves to get treated. Y'all don't understand. This is some crazy stuff. And let me just say, let me just go back and slow down and talk about what I was talking about in terms of Beyonce. Beyonce, you gave way too much. I know you and Jay-Z and y'all try to ride whatever wave y'all ride. Listen, I don't have no love for ADOS celebrity. I don't, because I believe that it manipulates. I don't have no love for that. So this isn't something saying that Beyonce's wonderful. I had a problem when she came out initially because I was like, there are so many ADOS country singers. Why are we just focusing on Beyonce? Y'all don't really like country. Y'all just like her. That's what the Beehive do. But they called you, understand something, slow it down. They said that the Beyonce was appropriating Africanness. And if you go back and watch my video from that period, I said, you know what? They right, because that's not your culture. They said that she was, Beyonce, she is really appropriating. She is appropriating Africanness. Okay. Africans unimpressed. Okay, so she can't be African and she can't be American. What can she be since you all are apparently the ones who get to tell us what to do? In my estimation, y'all sold us over here, but y'all don't still own us. You don't own us. I mean, it's got to be something for y'all, though. It's got to be something for people to sell us over here, and then we get over here, and all of a sudden, our slavery makes the country rich, and we're here, and that's some way that you want to go. It's got to be something on you. It's got to feel the way. Doggone it, we sold them over, and I be god doggone if they didn't get in a better place than us. It doesn't mean that America is perfect, but you came here for a reason, baby doll. It was better than where you left, wasn't it? Ain't it something? Oh, God got away. Ain't that something? Now let me just read this for 1 second, because they was talking, she's not this, and this is not what we want. They had a lot to say. Nevertheless, and despite features from notable African artists such as Nigeria's Yemi Alade, South Africa's Busiswa, and Ghana's Wale, some Africans are unimpressed by the American singer's efforts, viewing her depiction of the continent as more imaginary and Wakanda-esque based on the real and rich continental diversity that Africa holds, an image that could do more harm than good. The Houston-born artist has, according to detractors, distorted and amalgamated vision of Africa. They didn't like some people loved it, some people hated it, Beyonce. Can someone tell Beyonce that Africa doesn't just have one culture and that we are normal people, tweeted Kaye Vuitton, a Nigerian. Still, there are many who defend the R&B singer in appreciation of the work's existence without requiring perfection. There are more urgent things to do than to get angry at an African-American woman. Wait a minute, we go by ADOS now, but American woman who is using her means to question, explore, and artistically interpret a way to fill the gaps in her identity. Fill the gaps in her identity. See, they think you lost. Fill the gaps in your identity. See, that's always been the way. See, they so lost. These people, the little ADOS people, they so lost. They come from slaves. They don't know nothing. They so lost. She's trying to figure out who she is. So let's just leave her alone and let her do her thing, because she's trying to figure out who she is, y'all. They so lost. These ADOS people are so lost. They come from slaves. Right? She's trying to explore. Let me tell you something. Let me get closer to the mic. Why do you need to explore your identity? 400 years, multiple generations, a beautiful culture. I'm talking about intellectually, artistically, a culture that people mimic around the world, a beautiful freedom struggle, inventions. We don't need to mimic anybody. There is nothing over there in the motherland, in those 54 countries. There is nothing there that you need. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is nothing there in the motherland that you need that's going to make you whole, that's better than what you have here. That's just the lie that people tell you in order to manipulate you, because you can only manipulate somebody if they're lost. You got to know that. You got to be begging Mama Africa. And all this stuff came from the doggone Lion King. We can't even make movies. You know what, I said this before, but just imagine a time where we could just make movies about ourselves all the time. make movies about. We have a bunch of slave rebellions we ain't talked about. We got a bunch of people who try and created industries and they got ran off. Stuff got stolen from them. But we got so many stories untold. We always trying to tell an African story. Listen, why can't Africans tell their own stories and we tell our own stories? I agree with the writer that I mentioned last time, whatever. She said we Africans should tell African stories. You doggone Skippy. And Americans should tell American stories. Well, there's MLK in Selma. Right? And whoever it is, everybody, all of our stories should be told by us. I will agree to that. You doggone Skippy, you doggone right. We could tell our own stories. We got a lot of stories to tell. We all talking about Lion King and all this stuff. I don't want to hear about all that all the time. We are Africans. Here's our view of Beyonce. Well, see that you think now Beyonce, you see you had them talking. And see, that's a problem in and of itself. It's the story, her initial story, the thing. It's the story of a young African king. Why? We got all kind of stories here. Everybody was on the Wakanda wave. Cast out as a baby. And grows up to return home to reclaim his throne. Along the way, he meets figures who connect him to his history, his family, and identity with ample music and dancing. Beyonce, who plays a mother figure and narrator throughout the film, encourages Black people to see the leader within and not be defined by negative narratives of Africa. Among her proclamations, let Black be synonymous with glory, be bigger than the picture they framed us to see. Listen, Beyonce, they did not care. They did not want you to really tell their story, and you should take that. You should, and you don't need. I agree. You shouldn't be telling no little African boy story because you don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that. They should tell their own little stories and just let that be that. That ain't nothing that you should have been talking about. And you were trying to really do something, talking about and not be defined by negative narratives. Well, that's not your business. And they told you that, and now they won't even let you have your American business. Woo-wee. Sounds like theft to me. I'm just gonna tell you what it sounds like to me. It don't sound like nothing good. She asked the young African king to remember who he is, a king. I'm so tired of y'all with this kings and queens stuff. I've been told y'all a long time ago. Some people were kings and queens and some people were spear chuckers. Every king, in every kingdom and queendom, there are people who are peasants. In every kingdom and queendom, there are people who are peasants, ladies and gentlemen. Why do y'all need a monarchy? England over there, whatever it is with the queen and all that, they got a monarchy. How does that look? We don't need a monarchy. Stop thinking that. And if you was in the monarchy, listen, the only way you can talk to me about a monarchy is if you can trace yourself back to one of the kings. And even the kings and queens over there now, they still got kings and stuff over there in Ghana. They don't live good. Y'all saw them over there on when I did Patreon about Pan-African Village. They ain't living good. They're not living better than you. So what's the point if we call ourselves a king or a queen? They're not living better than you. Who cares? Throw that junk away. Every time when we used to come from kings and queens, who gives a booty about we came from king? I don't care. I do not care. I don't need it. I don't need none of that. Indeed, if we are truly royalty, would we tolerate the kinds of institutionalized racism faced by Black Americans in the U.S. and racism faced by Black people all over the world? I don't even know what that means. Many Africans, including ourselves, love the film. On Twitter, a Nigerian researcher said he thought Black is King was a masterpiece. Excellent art direction, use of original costumes by Africans in Afrocentric production, he tweeted. And she did. She hired a bunch of Africans and people still found some stuff to talk about. Okay, you can critique art. You can critique art all day. But you can't tell her that she's not African, then turn around and tell her she's not American. You can find whatever problem you want to find with the art. Somebody said, when you go to the next one, somebody says, I think it's crap. I'm tired of seeing animal skins. This was in 2020 for the I Am King. Animal skin costumes portray Africa. That's all I saw there. This is not how we dress, for goodness sake. We know you try to dress like us. We know. Climbing in trees. I think this is how the Western world likes to imagine Africa. So it's for their consumption, not ours. Yeah, just stop making stuff for them. Just stop making stuff for them. It's okay. You are not, they're right. You don't know enough to make their stuff, but they certainly don't know enough to tell us that we can't rep the American flag because we're American. Imagine being here, tweeting me from Houston, Texas, telling me what I can't do when you came here to be me. Woo! This is some crazy stuff, boy. I'm telling you. Here's another one. This is Beyonce. You got to understand. This is from 2020 in terms of the I am king criticism. I found it so disrespectful for a white looking Western woman like Beyonce to represent the image of blackness. I appreciate the image of blackness. She don't use periods and stuff. I appreciate her for wanting to celebrate blackness, but could we have put a good representation of the mother of someone black African to represent? Beyonce, she said you a white woman. And She said you white looking. She said you real Alabaster. She said you look about like me. I don't know. Yeah, that's what they'll tell you. They tell you, well, you're African. You gotta claim you're African. But they'll tell you that in the same breath, say you Alabaster. you ain't one of us. You got a lot of white in you. And why you trying to claim us? They tell us to do everything. Listen, how about we just say this? How about you don't tell me nothing? How about we do that? How about you don't get to tell me nothing about who I am or what I look like? You don't get to have any control over me or how I define myself or how I've identified. How about you just keep my name out your mouth? And see, Beyonce, that's why I criticize you. If you had just left them people alone and not went over there trying to do the Wakanda thing and the Afro beats thing, you might not have had these kind of problems. But now they over there talking and doing all kind of stuff and saying you look real white and talking about you. See, you should have left them alone. Let them create their own stuff. I'm sure they have a Ghanaian or Eritrean or whatever Hollywood over there, right? You gotta have something if you over there talking about us. I know you ain't. I know you're not talking about us and you don't have no kind of Hollywood. I know you ain't talking about us and you don't have no production company. I know you ain't. I know you ain't. I know you're not talking about that. I know that you're not criticizing a multi-million-dollar star. I know you're not criticizing the person who a lot of these people over there doing Afro beats wanna collab with. I know you're not doing that. And then you ain't got nothing to do with yourself. I know you're not doing that because America built you. I'm talking about if you came over here, ADOS paved the way for you to be here. And you over here with all these criticisms and you just got here. Let me tell you, it is a shame. It is a shame for God. People tell you ain't African. They're the first ones to tell you ain't African. You don't look African. We're real African. They got all kind of memes up. Listen, family, they got all kind of memes up on Twitter. Saying this is what Black Americans view as African versus what we know is African. And it's just like a light-skinned woman or a lighter-skinned woman who is ADOS, and there's a darker-skinned one who is African from an African country. It's 54 of them, right? And they're saying, well, it's just like remember Lovey got in all that trouble because she said we have melanin envy. Let me tell you, half those people starting all these colorism debates online, it's not us. Even that fight was started. I'm not saying it wasn't continued. That started by white folk who said everything is closer to white is better. And so it started a whole fight amongst us. But that stuff, we over there. We don't do that. We understand all from the spectrum, from dark to light, from light to dark. We love all of ourselves, all of our sisters and brothers. We love each other. Y'all the ones coming in here inserting that stuff. Because now that Africa ain't king no more and Africa's falling out of favor in terms of our elevation of it, you got to find something else. Well, let's make it about melanin. Let me king up with the darker skinned ADOS people, and I will use that to divide and conquer them. No, we're not with that either. You can keep that too. We come in every color. Keep that. You don't understand America enough. See, if you don't understand that, you don't understand America enough. You don't understand America enough to understand why we come in so many different colors. We are descended from slave and slave master. And who did that to us? Who sent us here to be descended from slave and slave master? Imagine having ancestors who might have sent us here to come from, to be enslaved and have the women be raped and all that stuff. Imagine. And for too long, we've been letting people come here and tell us we're not enough. Listen, if you didn't like who we are or what we do or what we stand for, you could have stayed where you were. You can still go back. You can't come here and tell Beyonce what she can do. You can't come here and tell Beyonce what she can wear. You can't come here and tell Beyonce what she can do in her country. This is a crazy thing. A whole argument about whether or not it's cultural appropriation. Who are you to argue? Oh, you know what? That's fine. But it's not cultural appropriation when it's her country. Don't nobody appreciate nothing. Beyonce, they didn't appreciate none of that stuff you did. Trying to get them attention and elevate them and talk about how they kings and queens. We come from kings and queens. Did nobody appreciate that, Beyonce? That little story you did. Beyonce releases the new Black is King visual. Remember, it was a whole controversy after facing accusation of appropriating African culture in new project. I agree. She should have left that junk alone. Because we ain't African. And y'all need to tell y'all own story. If you want a story, you go find the budget for it and you do it. That way we don't have to ever be accused of appropriating nothing. We mama Africa. You ain't mama nothing. Your mama don't sell you into slavery. Don't talk to me about being nobody's mama. Your mama, somebody who loves you, don't sell you across the water. They don't build caves to hold you for when the Europeans get there to buy you. You are nobody's mother. Stop acting like, oh, we brother and sister. How and why? I ain't never met y'all. I used to believe that same dumb stuff too because I went to Howard. We brother and sister. No, we're not. That's the same thing as an Ecuadorian or same thing as I judge you by who you are, but there ain't no brother and sister. Mama ain't sold me nowhere. Africa get credit for everything. Well, see, that's because it was like that in Africa. That's because it was, you act like that because it was like that in Africa. You are like that because it was like that in Africa. No. Even our soul singing, that comes from a very painful place. You ever listen to our soul singers? You ever listen to gospel? You ever listen to some Sam Cooke? All of that stuff is painful. You ever listen to Aretha Franklin? You ever listen to people that come out of the church? All that comes out of a pain that I never hear in your music because you didn't come from that. You sold somebody into that, but you didn't come from that. So let's not play games with each other. And let's not pretend like you can tell us what to do or how to do it. Let's not do that. Let's just not do that because I'm not interested. I don't know if y'all, but I'm not interested in that. Beyonce, you shouldn't have did that thing. You shouldn't have been over there. You shouldn't have been over there looking like that. Beyonce, listen. You shouldn't have been over there looking like that. I'm just trying to tell the truth. That was a problem. I'm just trying to say. And look, let me just say, this was her mama. Now listen to what the mama said. And see, this is where everybody gets lost. Even her mama. And her mama, given her age, I understand why the mama is lost. Tina, 66, went on to explain how her daughter was taught as a young girl to help lift other women, not tear them down. She minds her own business, does not criticize anyone, gives of her time and money, and dedicates her art to boldly show the royalty and beauty of our heritage and journey. Her work is to change the narrative, to show that we did not start off as slaves. See, that's the problem. Because our American story did start off with slavery. We have no cultural memory that dates back to pre-ADOS. The 99.9% of our memory, of our cultural and what we built was in this country. So stop talking to me about something that nobody remembers and that nobody's going back to. We hardly ever travel. Even that Ghanaian village only had like 500 people in that Pan-African village where they said, come back to Africa. It had like 500 people in it. It was hardly nobody in there. Right? It was hardly nobody in there. You know why? Because we hardly travel to Africa. We not going back. Ain't nobody going back. We are Western now. I don't care whether y'all like it or not. And everybody who ain't Western is trying to get over here. It's almost like they're trying to swap places with you, telling you should go to Africa and learn what it's like to be in the motherland while they wait in line at immigration. Somebody told me one time, they said, it was somebody on Twitter, I think. Might have been Dap who said like these people, somebody said it, like are going to be, or maybe I think, somebody said it, but like the people who are just getting here, they were showing like the Africans coming to the country and they were like in 2 years, they'll be telling us like to stop flying the flag. Like that's how recent they are. And we'll get into that in a second. That's how recent Africans specifically, not Caribbeans, are as immigrants. How do you tell somebody who just got here what you got to do? But that is our history. Our history doesn't go back. People understand that you're appropriating. Because our history, you don't have a family member there. You're not even like Italians who come here and they still got somebody over there. You're not even like an Irish person who comes here and they still can go visit family there. You have nothing. You have no connection. The only connection is the fictionalized connection that people use to manipulate you. And at some point, the manipulation should be over. We did not start off as slaves, but we were kings and queens before we were forced into slavery. Nah, you probably wasn't. Like in any country, the number of royalty is that small. You were probably a peasant. So why don't you say, I was an African peasant before I got here? Because most people are not kings and queens. I don't even let people call me, what's up, queen? No, we're not doing that. Call me Yvette. Call me friend. Don't call me queen. She, in an emotional plea, Tina asked the critics of Black is King to take inventory of themselves and their hate. No, they're not going to take inventory because manipulating us is what is the game. Manipulating us and making us not take root here in America. That is the game. Manipulating us to make sure that we never really exercise our Americanness and walk in the authority of being American. Because when you understand who you are and what you built, you walk in the authority of that and you don't let nobody get in your way or tell you how to do that. But if people can make you feel diminished and small and lost and just out on an island somewhere, then you just walk around kicking cans, talking about I ain't nobody. I ain't African. I ain't American. I'm a African in America, but they say I'm not real African, and I need to go back, and maybe I got